And welcome back, guys, to Filmatic. I'm here today with my two friends. We're here to talk about any and all entertainment news, and as we know, it's been a pretty explosive week in Hollywood this week. So there's a lot to talk about. A lot of riffing going to be going on. A lot of freestyling, so to speak, for those who remember those kinds of episodes. Now, before we start, guys, once again. The Suicide Squad Blu Ray DVD could be yours. All you have to do is comment. I'm changing it. Comment on the Instagram post for this episode at Filmatic Podcast. Put who would win in a fight, Will Smith or Chris Rock. You just comment that. And there's no right answer. There's no. Come on. There's no right answer, right?
Make it easier. Like
okay. Like what?
Batman or Superman. You know?
All right, comment Batman or Superman. Comment something, literally. But no, yeah, guys, Suicide Squad Blu Ray DVD. Those who don't know, it's great. It's a good movie. Awesome. Comes with both the Blu Ray and the normal DVD, I think. And yeah, and it'll be signed by me. Or if you don't want it to be signed by me, I won't sign it. It's your choice. Okay. First up, let me introduce my guest next. Once again, returning. It's been a while. Manny Rea.
Hello.
How's it going, Manny?
It's been a fat minute, but
it has been.
It's nice that I can come here with, this length of time in between and, everything's back to the way it is,
Yeah.
It's just like
pick right back up.
So.
Yeah. You got a goatee now, I see. You're modeling after Will Smith.
Come on, not everything has to be political.
Yeah, it's a buzzword. It's a buzzword. It's for the algorithm. It's for the algorithm.
You want that? You want that?
Say again?
The Zelensky.
Oh, that's good.
Or the Putin. No. Okay.
The wine. No. Wow. Okay. So, also here, Darian Nigro. What's up? How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. It's good to be back after the longest podcast. Was it actually the longest?
Yeah, so the Batman episode actually beat our Shrek episode. I believe the Shrek episode is like 3 hours, 45 minutes and like 20 seconds or something like that. And then the Batman podcast is like 5 seconds longer. 3 hours, 45 minutes.
Shit.
So
that's crazy.
We beat the Shrek episode, and it was funny. I was saying this the other day. I still feel like there's not enough. Like there's things I thought of after. I'm like, oh, I should have talked about that, which is pretty crazy. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And if we have time later after we get through the news, Manny, I'd like maybe your preliminary thoughts on it because I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts because I haven't talked to you about it yet.
Sure.
But let's see if we get there. Let's see how the time goes. Let's keep it on the news right now. So, guys. Should we tackle the elephant in the room?
No.
Okay, we'll save it. Save it for later. Okay. The other big piece of news that came out yesterday, Ezra Miller, who's known for playing the Flash, and I bring this up specifically because we talked about it on the podcast. I don't think you guys were there, but when we were talking about Justice League last year, we talked about how he choked. He was in Europe, somewhere in Europe, I think like Sweden or something. And there's a video of him like drunk as shit, like choking a fan.
What?
Yeah, it's just on YouTube, and he's like, "Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight?" And he's like, and it's a lady too. It's not a very good look. Apparently, there have just been multiple instances where he's just been fucking shit-faced, just doing stupid shit. And the latest one happened the other day in Hawaii, where he was at a karaoke bar, and people started singing karaoke, as they do at a karaoke bar, and he began, quote, yelling obscenities. He, quote, grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman singing karaoke, and then lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. He was quickly arrested by Hawaii authorities and was released on bail. So, I just thought I'd update our fans who were interested in the Ezra Miller saga, with that piece of news.
I feel like I get more updates about his incidents than like the actual Flash content that he's supposed to be making. It's been like 10
True.
years since they announced that.
Yeah, no, the Flash movie's been delayed for such a long time, right? It got delayed again, for those who don't know. It's supposed to come out this summer. Yeah, this summer, late summer. And it got delayed to next summer. So, and that movie's also supposed to feature Michael Keaton's Batman for some reason, so it's an interesting one to follow. I don't know if anyone... Do you guys have any particular care towards Ezra Miller, or like it's just like this news is whatever? Are there any thoughts on it before I move on? Basically, I think it's funny.
Would you consider him the most problematic superhero actor of this generation, or is there another one?
Ben Affleck also had alcohol issues and got divorced and went to, as Casey put in the Batman podcast, quote, Arkham Asylum. Which is a funny moment. You guys should listen to that. But there's Ben Affleck. Who else is there? I feel like in Marvel they got pretty straight arrows, you know?
What about Jeremy Renner? That's not a straight arrow.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Disney gets to you, man. Disney gets to you. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Jeremy Renner allegedly beats his wife. This is I'm laughing. You laugh when you're uncomfortable. This is very,
of course,
dour entertainment news to start on, but it's news nonetheless. So, and I think there's an interesting conversation to be had in terms of. I mean, I guess it depends how deep you want to go into it, right? Because then you're entering cancel culture. You're entering things that are maybe above our pay grade.
At the very least, the way I see it is that these actors and actresses are just cogs in this giant wheel, right? Of this industry.
Yeah.
Especially Marvel. It's really important to them that that image is like, of the character is important. So it's like, they probably don't want to recast Hawkeye. It's going to be, too much work for them. So they're going to just keep it, hush.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
No more lies.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And I guess you could ask the question, sure, no one cares because who fucking cares about Hawkeye and who cares about Avengers movies? But, like, is it a slippery slope? Is there something that Disney could cover up that is in the public's interest to not be covered up? This is kind of a, left turn, but I do think those are interesting thoughts to have when you hear about these kinds of things. I'm not saying I feel for certain one way or the other, but, something to think about, I guess. I guess we should move on from people beating women and going to jail. One thing I had heard about was that that also involves cancel culture. I was going to talk about J.K. Rowling. Never mind.
What happened?
Basically, Warner Brothers was, this is all alleged, considering to make a movie based on that Harry Potter sequel, that play. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called The Cursed Child. It was a play and also a book that was not written by J.K. Rowling, but she was obviously associated with. And there's questions now as to... There's been internal rumblings that they're going to make the movie, and people have noticed, most specifically, the biggest real thing that came of this, that started this whole conversation, was there was a new trailer for the new Fantastic Beasts movie, which Ezra Miller is also in, which is funny. Just piece it together. So all the trailers before this trailer used to say, "From the mind of J.K. Rowling" or something like that.
Right.
Now they released the trailer on like YouTube or as an ad or something, and it's the same exact trailer, but that says from the magic of the wizarding world or something. So there's just all sorts of little pieces of things going about where people are talking about, is Warner Brothers going to fully split off from using J.K. Rowling's name, and people just debating whether they feel like that's right or not. I do feel like we're getting into very political. If we enter that discussion, we can or we can't. It's up to you guys. But If you have any surface level thoughts, I'd be happy to hear them. Hence why I was thinking of avoiding it in the first place as I was scrolling through. I don't know. Any thoughts or not? Yeah, I figured.
I mean, I guess everything's political at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's an
That's
interesting.
What the headlines are going to be. I hope there's
That's
something
true.
like a new rock movie, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to try to pivot to that sort of news now. This is the problem when you start with Ezra Miller, really. So, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 got a new trailer. This is the other side of the spectrum. Did you want this? Is this what you wanted? Anyone see it?
Nope. No.
Okay, I'll give you the rundown. Idris Elba was playing Knuckles. I don't know much about Sonic, but that's the red Sonic. That's what I can tell you. And people were giving it shit on Twitter because... people were giving Variety, the news publication, shit on Twitter because Variety, in their early review of the movie following this trailer that got shown early, said that the movie spent too much time on the animated characters and needed to spend more time with the humans. So you have all these Sonic fans on Twitter rushing out and saying, hey, hey, what the hell? We want more Sonic, we want more Knuckles, we want more whatever their names are. You know. So that's what that was about. Do you guys... Now, this is... I think you could bring in some other movies into this, you know. What else is there? Alvin and the Chipmunks, Garfield, other movies that have a hybrid of animated characters and human characters. Do you think that there has to be a balance? Do you like when directors jump into that animated side? Manny, any thoughts? I know you like Garfield and that kind of thing.
Smurfs 2.
Oh, Smurfs. That's a good question, because Smurfs 2... God. Smurfs 2... if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, is a lot more in the animated world, right? Or is it fully?
That's Smurfs 3.
Okay, 3 is fully. 2 is like half, right?
Yeah. I don't know, Darian, do you know?
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'm sorry. We're off to a rough start. This is what we get for delaying the Will Smith conversation.
I don't know if there's really... I guess this is different because Sonic apparently has this great fan base behind it.
Yeah.
Behind him, there's a lot of lore.
You're telling me there's no Smurfs fans, bro?
Come on. You know, once in a Smurf moon, right? But it's like... The point is... I don't know, bro. I'm not going to watch Sonic 2, so I can't really contribute to this. I think they're just whining. But I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd more or less agree with you. I think you just gotta see the movie for itself, and not that I'm gonna see the movie, but no offense. Okay, wait, the Oscars happened. Besides the Will Smith thing, some shit went down in terms of winning and who lost and who won. One thing that I saw that I want to say that I think was deserved. Dune won Best Visual Effects, and I'm so glad that won over Spider-Man No Way Home. No offense, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home was good for what it was, but man, there was some questionable moments. Yes, please.
Definitely, for sure. Just kind of like going back and watching like some of the clips of the movie, because I saw it twice in the theaters, and I'm finally like, I want to see the scene. And I understand, one, COVID was a major factor for like some of the shortcuts they have to take in terms of using blue screen, green screen, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel like they pushed out the practical effects a little too much for it to be warranted, I think. Even COVID protocols or artistic, you know, liberties, it just felt little.
Well, it's hard when you have to compare it to other movies made during COVID, like The Batman.
Right.
Where, whether you like the movie or not, I would have to say, I don't know if I'd argue with anyone who says otherwise, that it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that was done during COVID. That was delayed by COVID, you know, by people getting it. And that was done with the mix of that new surround screen, what's it called? The volume, you know? And I think that doing that and doing, like you said, just doing more practical things, it's always going to be better, and it shows. then again, I guess you could argue Spider-Man is about fucking magic lizard men going through portals, and you know what I mean. So I mean, I don't know.
What else was nominated for that?
Let me check real quick. Visual effects. The winner was Dune. Nominated was Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man. Excuse me. I have not seen Free Guy, so I can't really speak on that. But from the trailer, in my opinion, it looked somewhat generic, but then again, I haven't seen it. No Time to Die I did see. Looked really good. Looked like a good, nice James Bond movie. Even though there was an amped up level towards the end, no spoilers, though, of explosions and bombs going off that I thought maybe might compromise it. And there's this scene where they have this new like sleek jet that 007 and his team are riding in that was like obviously CGI, but it wasn't bad CGI. I don't know if it definitely does not deserve the Oscar over Dune, because Dune is just another level, but I could definitely personally, given it's the only other film I'd seen, I guess I'd say it's the runner-up, but you know, it was a good one. Yeah.
Did you do, I don't know how to say his name, I think he's French-Canadian. Did you do Denis whatever justice and see it in theaters, or did you see it on the television? Because I would love to see Dune, but I feel like that's got to be like a, you know, Zendaya on the big screen.
You know,
but,
yeah,
you know, I know.
If I could have, I would have. But yeah, I agree. You gotta give that. You always got to see a movie in theaters. I mean, when do you? Yeah,
come on.
I mean,
except for maybe like.
Except for
Sonic 2.
Yeah. No. You gotta see Sonic 2 in the theaters. Right? Give it a little bit of credit, you know.
I don't think there's any movie that you have to be insane to be like, no, I don't want to see it in theaters. I want to see it on the little screen. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't think.
Logistically, if there's no stopping it.
I mean, I guess if I know it's going to be a shitty movie, like I saw Red Notice on Netflix, right?
And that's fine to stay on Netflix.
I would never have. Yeah, right. I would never have paid money for that to see it in the theaters.
See, that's the interesting situation when Juan was getting all these free movie tickets from Costco and inviting me to go to the movies, and we just started watching bad movies. You know, you're watching a movie every week. You're gonna have to watch some bad movies. Yeah. But with it being free, living close to the movie theater, it's still nice to go to the movies.
Oh, you know? No. Yeah, I mean, when I had Movie Pass, that's what I did. I saw a movie every weekend. You know,
that was the dream. Anymore, right?
Nope. Damn. They're talking about bringing it back, but it's not going to be obviously anything like it was because they were running it at a loss. So, you know, God, I miss Movie Pass. Those were the days. Okay. Manny, this is actually something I read an article about that I really want your opinion on. Also, Darian, if you know anything about this or have any opinions. And it was from Forbes. And they released this article called Why did the Hunger Games vanish from pop culture conversation?
I started reading that. I never finished it.
Yeah, and it's something that I kind of like thought about in the back of my mind every now and then. I've never identified it. It's like the Hunger Games were so big when they came out. You know, everyone's talking about them at school. You know, you go online, Hunger Games meme, you know, on iFunny. Yeah.
What do you call that genre? Like young adult, apocalypse,
coming of age,
dystopian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, what's the other one? Divergent, right?
And Maze Runner, like that was all over the place. That was like the industry standard or whatever. And then capiche,
gone.
Why?
Well, they came up with a few in this op-ed, a few reasons. Here's number one. Jennifer Lawrence's Katniss became a life imitates art symbol for #girlbossfeminism. The saga of Katniss was steeped in life imitates art irony. This film became about how forces opposing the tyrannical capital attempted to turn Katniss into a figure of hope with propaganda videos. In the real world, the media and the pundit class essentially turned Jennifer Lawrence's just like us stardom into a skewed feminist symbol, pitting Katniss's badass with a bow against the doing anything to snag a guy, Bella Swan from Twilight. that was the main gist of that first point. I'm not sure how I feel about that specific point. I feel like I understand it. I feel like I'm not apt enough to have a comment about that sort of thing, to be honest. I don't know if you guys do, but I feel like my point in bringing up the article was just to get your kind of view on the topic, because it's something I've thought about. I mean, obviously, I'll link the article below if people want to read it, but it's much more about the socioeconomic types of impacts of the movie that they feel like were done an injustice to in the movies as adaptations from the book. You know, basically talking about how, you know, in the book, if you've ever read those, it's very overt about the whole class system sort of thing, and the way that they're sending in, you know, literal teens to kill each other, whereas they feel like in the movie those aspects became symbolized and celebrated by our own youth, making it cruelly ironic, if that makes any sense. And that's just one of the many points. It's actually a very you know, in-depth article for that sort of conversation if you're interested in it.
I guess it also doesn't help that the messages of these kind of movies, it kind of conflicts, or it becomes a little null when they're trying to draw these movies out. And what am I trying to say? It's like when you have these kind of messages and then the system of a movie where there's always going to be a sequel or this or that, where it's clearly that it's a cash cow that they want to milk. Maybe it's like the fact that those messages become very diluted to a point where it's just like, oh, okay, well, you're going to keep rehashing this over and over just to, I guess, in the sense, attract those young audiences or whatever. And I think I agree with what you said about how there's like that kind of glorification or symbolization of these characters might conflict with the original message.
Right.
But I don't know any more about those.
That's how I feel.
Movies in 5 years, so.
Yeah, exactly. I was more interested. I mean, not more interested, but I was just as interested to hear. And you said, of course, just from a cultural perspective, the fact that they disappeared. You know, and maybe that also has to do with the rise in the Marvel movie and the cinematic universe is stomping in right after that. You know, I'm sure you could make that point too. What if Hunger Games was made 6 years after it came out, which was like 2011 or something, 2012. It was made in 2018. But what happened? I'm sure there'd be a lot more spin-offs. I'm sure there'd be that sort of, you know, Marvel sort of thing going on. So it's interesting to think about how we've entered a different era of franchise blockbuster making. And that's something they also talk about in the article is movies like this don't exist anymore. Like straight up adaptations from books that become major franchises. Because, of course, now it's just reboot, superhero, blah, 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 whatever you hear Scorsese say nowadays. But yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to bring up.
Because to go into that, it's like it came at the same time period as Twilight, the trail end of Harry Potter, these books series with, you know, 4 more movies, whatever.
Yeah, and then Hollywood found its new cash cow with Disney and Marvel and that sort of thing. So it's interesting to think about for sure. Of course, the Best Picture winner from the Oscars was Coda. I have not seen it. I want to see it. It's one reason I do bring it up, although I don't, even though I know none of us have seen it, I'm pretty sure. Darian, you haven't seen it, right?
No.
Yeah. So it's interesting that people have been talking about it from a movie industry perspective, is that this movie is an Apple TV Plus movie. And Apple TV Plus has been around for not even 3 years. And they were able to lowball buy a movie from Sundance, you know, make it their own movie, distribute it, and it became Best Picture. Whereas Netflix, Amazon, all these other streaming services over the last few years, who've been around longer than Apple, have been barely making it into the Oscars. So people have been talking about like how that's kind of crazy and how maybe this means Apple TV is a bigger threat than people thought in the whole streaming wars sort of thing. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on the streaming wars, but just thought I'd bring that up when we're talking about the Oscars.
I mean, I feel like this gives Apple TV more credibility, but also how much of I don't mean this to sound rhetorical, but like, how much do you think that this movie's success really has to do with Apple's decision making or marketing or distribution? Couldn't they just be relatively lucky in the film that they acquired or chose?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know how much of Oscar nominations are influenced by things like that, though. Potentially that could be like a fair thing that Apple did something right in their own presentation of it. I also wonder if there's any kind of like, maybe it's a case of like Apple TV has less of a stigma, if that makes sense. Like Netflix, I don't know, like generally would you say you expect less out of a Netflix movie?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because Netflix has a reputation now of throwing shit at the wall until it sticks, right?
Yeah.
Which wasn't the case, I feel like, 5 years ago when they started and everyone was getting on the wagon. I mean, now you have people quitting Netflix because they're raising prices again, I'm pretty sure. They're cracking down on password sharing, supposedly. You can't share passwords anymore. So, at least that's what they said their plan was before everyone freaked out about it. I don't know if that's still a thing, but, the whole streaming thing is very interesting. I do think, of course, as I've said before, it's a big circle. We're going to end up back in the same place we were with cable, where it's going to be, hey, you can get all these streaming services in one package for one price per month. And it's like, oh, wait, isn't this cable? But with the internet, so.
It's like the streaming market is getting so crowded. It's like, I realized, like, okay, HBO Max is still different from HBO. And then they're both making their own content. And then there's Hulu, there's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple, whatever, Peacock, Paramount. It's a little much, dude. And I think I also feel like that's gonna cause an issue for some shows to get that are actually maybe quality to like go under the radar. I feel like that's gonna be harmful in the long run.
I think it definitely is harder for up and coming shows to get the foothold they could before. I mean, I don't know, I've listened to a lot of and read a lot about like how shows like The Office, Community, how those shows started out and they were under constant threat of cancellation, right? And they're constantly being judged by their week-to-week viewership counts. Well, it's like, how does that work in an environment of streaming? How does a new show get greenlit? Could Community come out and exist today and last for as long as it did? Even then, it barely lasted under the old system. You know what I mean?
They were under Yahoo for a year or something. Yeah. Yahoo Streaming or something.
Yahoo Streaming or something like that. Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, is the consumer's quest to have more and more ease of access going to shoot themselves in the foot in terms of losing quality of content down the line? I guess that's the question. So, yeah, I mean, as far as Oscars go, I don't know if there's anything else I specifically wanted to or could talk about because I haven't seen everything. I'm ashamed to say.
Al Pacino did not forget to go.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
That was so funny. Yeah, I'll put that on the Filmatic Instagram as a funny meme where it's like, it's like a fake like Twitter news thing. And it's like Al Pacino was asked about the Oscars and quote, he said quote, I forgot. And it's like source deadline. It's like very funny. I'll put it on the Instagram. But yeah. Best animated feature. Sorry, go ahead.
What were you saying? No, you go.
I was going to switch the topic. So
I was going to talk about just Oscars in general.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Let's say, I'm curious. What one animated feature?
Encanto.
Oh. Yeah.
About the house that's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw trailers for them.
It was up against Flea, which I don't know much about. Luca, another Pixar movie. The Mitchells versus the Machines, which I've actually heard a lot about. That was on Netflix. It was done by the same guys who made Spider-Verse. And Raya and the Last Dragon, which is another Disney animated movie. So, there was a lot of conversation about this too, because there's been this history that has not been broken by the Motion Picture Academy, where they market animated movies as something only for kids. They did it again this year. They brought out a bunch of actresses who've played Disney princesses, Jasmine from the new Aladdin movie, etc. I'm forgetting exactly who. But they brought them out and they're like, animation can unlock the spirit inside you, the child inside you. And, there was a lot of discourse about that online, and people were talking about, aren't we beyond that? This is what people are saying. It's like, aren't we beyond that? Can't we come to a point where we realize that animation isn't just for children, and you don't have to be childish to enjoy animated movies or consider them in the same way you do a live action movie, and that they're just as valid as pieces of art. So people were talking about that and talking about how it's kind of fucked up that the Oscars are still treating it that way. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts, but
I mean, that's true. That's always been like that. Like, I think you probably know better, Nabeel, but it's like, I think a animated film has only been nominated 3 times for Best Picture.
yeah,
and that was like Toy
that.
Story 3, and then maybe stuff like in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
But I don't see.
Should they make a separate category for Disney animated movies? Like,
That's also true, is that they dominate.
they're dominating
Pixar
the
this,
market.
Disney that, Pixar this. So
Yeah.
It's almost like an ad for Disney, the entire thing, The Oscars.
I mean, it aired on ABC. You know who owns ABC? Disney. Is the answer. So,
listen, Shang-Chi was nominated for visuals. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, dude, that movie looked bad as shit. And I was wondering about it. I saw another video where they broke it down a little bit on like a 2-minute video, and they actually went back and redid a lot of scenes in post-production. But so they had to use rotoscoping, which is a feature where it's like, for example, at the end, spoiler alert, Shang-Chi fights a giant dragon, and they had to rotoscope him in. So they have him on, of course, surrounded by blue walls on an elevated platform. He's just like, shooting and shit. And then they go in digitally and put him in and move him around. So it's like as according to the thing. I don't know. I'm really tired of Marvel CGI, to be honest. I think that most Marvel movies from the last decade, or any movie after, like Iron Man 3, if you cut the budget in half, it would look so much better. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I guess. Well, I don't know. Do you still have any other categories to talk about?
I was just gonna say best cinematography. Also Dune. Greg Fraser, who also did the cinematography on the Batman. I hope the Batman wins something next year. I'll say it.
I was just thinking that
the Batman deserves something. I don't know. And you know what, Manny? We're done with Oscars. Just launch into it. How'd you feel about the Batman? I need to know. I need to know how you felt about it, because this could be our little intermission as we transition into our next topic.
Well, I thought it was good. I thought it was really well done. And
good. Right answer.
I went into this. I went into it saying, with this precedent of the Dark Knight, how this Batman was done. How is this going to be different, right? And so, for one thing, I know maybe it was a turnoff for some people, but I feel like to everyone I've talked to, it hasn't been, which is great. Everyone was like, "Oh no, the runtime wasn't a problem for me," which was I'm glad. I'm glad that was something that was, embraced or, well received. I think.
Yeah.
Let me think back. This was a while ago now.
Yeah. I'll just, while you think about it, I'll try to buy you some time here and just kind of reiterate my very, very general thoughts from the longest episode we have with on the Batman, and say that, you know, I was in the same position. The Dark Knight, one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it so many times. I know all the lines. You know, it's a hard thing to beat.
Right.
And I feel like this is fierce competition for it. Cinematography is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to go as far as to say it's better than Nolan's yet. I don't want to say that, because they're both very distinct styles. But I love the amount of care, and that's what holds the candle to Nolan, is the amount of care that goes into every single shot, and the amount of care that goes into the choice of them using those dirty frames,
Right.
and the choice of them, you know, choosing to, when they do the car chase, mount the cameras on the car so you have the different perspectives of Batman and the Penguin, you know. And there's this, I mean, it's like in the smallest places too, you get these levels of care. There's the one scene that's always always pops up into my mind, which is when they go into Riddler's apartment at the spoiler alert for the Batman, when they go into Riddler's apartment towards the end of the movie, and they're searching it after they've arrested him. And there's this part where the Riddler has a final note for Batman in this cage of a bat, right? And there's this very slow shot of Robert Pattinson's Batman reaching into the cage and getting the letter. And at the same time this is going on, this bat, the CGI bat, by the way, which looked very good, was fluttering around making a shit ton of noise. And at the same time, the camera flashes are going off. And it literally looks like fucking lightning is happening, but it's at, like, you know, an intense speed. And it's happening all in the same moment. And I just love the way, like, I don't know, I just love the way it looks and the way it feels and the way it sounds.
It definitely, you know, this is what, like, the freaking 10th Batman at this point to exist on the screen. And it still had a very unique identity that was inspired by maybe these past iterations. You know, it had that very gothic feel, I feel, sometimes of like the Tim Burton Batman films. But still managed to be its own thing. Very well done. And I do think I think even if it's, you know, people, it might not be for some the best Batman film, or, you know, people might say, oh, well, you know, I still prefer, you know, God forbid, I still prefer George Clooney, or whatever. At least it kind of changes. I think between this and like something like Joker changes the perspective on what a superhero movie could be from this point forward. It doesn't have to be part of a larger. Well,
yes.
Okay, the only thing that pissed me off personally is like I personally was like, why do they got to put the Joker again? That was just me.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of it.
I agreed with you. Walking out of the film, and I talked about this, I totally agreed. I'm like, man, that movie was awesome. But the Joker, though.
I was like, that was one thing.
Then I heard some interviews from Matt Reeves talking about it, right? Maybe this is backwalking, maybe he's lying, whatever. You can interpret it as you want. But he actually had a very detailed, like, 5-minute interview where he talked about it. And he mentioned that his inspiration for doing it was kind of like how in Silence of the Lambs they go to Hannibal Lecter, A. And B, what was most important to me is he said that he does not know if Joker will be in the next movie. He does not plan for it. He doesn't think so.
Okay.
But he put it in because he wanted to show that there was an environment, that the criminal underworld was festering with the introduction of Batman.
I know that there was like a 4-hour cut of this, and I'm sure there's like, they had the deleted scenes of. So that was one thing I was like, the studio. I was like, the studio's trying to set shit up. Because like, it's the same thing with the Joker, is like, they try to set up all the Bruce Wayne stuff. Which, did I tell you that's my cousin's classmate, by the way? Freaking little Bruce Wayne and Joker.
The little Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, I was like, I mentioned it, like, oh, we watched
you mean
Joker.
The kid, the mayor's kid?
Bruce Wayne's kid. Bruce Wayne. And
you Joker. Bruce Wayne is?
In Joker.
Oh, in Joker. Okay.
The dark.
Okay, in the 2019 Joker.
2019 Joker.
Okay, yeah.
If you need an autograph.
When he's like
this, I want to like ask that kid what it was like.
Dude, can we get him on the podcast? It's gonna be big for us.
I don't know. He's like a 15-year-old. I mean, it's possible.
Is there like some sort of law?
I don't know. If we give him the Suicide Squad DVD, maybe he'll be like 10. I don't know. That guy probably. I was like, I want to know that perspective of being like on this side, you know.
Yeah.
Going, having your
With
face going.
Joaquin's Phoenix fingers
Seriously.
in your mouth. Yeah.
Imagine. You probably never washed his hands after. No, okay, so what are we talking about? Oh,
The
so
Batman.
that also pissed me off. Like that. Yeah, I get it. You know, at the end of the day, it's there are larger schemes with these movies, but I like that it was a very solitary film in terms of like, okay,
Mhm.
whether there's a sequel or not, like you can watch this, the Batman by itself. That's it. One and done or not, it's great. So
It's awesome.
so
One thing that I just to wrap it up. One thing I wanted to get your thoughts on and tell you. Well, first of all, what I wanted to say, something I thought about with the Joker scene, is that we also get in that same scene closure for the Riddler, because we see the Riddler actually witness the aftermath of his events and see it doesn't work. Whereas if that scene wasn't in the movie, we'd never see the Riddler again from
right.
when we last saw him in the prison watching shit blow up. You know, so I kind of like having that closure in the scene, and I think it works for that reason too. And the other thing I wanted to tell you, you brought up, you know, God forbid anyone like Batman and Robin, but we actually had a section on the Batman podcast where, you know, I don't want to speak ill of anyone while they're not here. I just want to say maybe you should go talk to them.
Can I get
Evan Casey defended Batman and Robin and said it was better. Okay, quote.
Let me hear it.
Or okay, not a quote, but my contention, and Darian can correct me if he thinks I'm off. But their argument was that the campiness and portrayal of George Clooney's Batman is better than anything Ben Affleck's Batman has ever done. L.
Okay, like I get it. Batman and Robin is cheesy and stupid,
but it's not intent. My thing was, it's not intentionally campy. It's just a fucking badly written movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's just like they did it bad. You can enjoy it for what it is. Like,
I'm not saying you can't enjoy it, but
you can enjoy it after the fact. I don't know. I haven't really watched Snyder Cut, so or whatever it's called. So I can't really.
But even without Snyder Cut,
just
like going off Batman v Superman, I would argue that he actually plays Batman more than George Clooney does.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm sorry. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Ass.
All right, we'll have to bring it up next time we're all together on the podcast.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that because you brought it up and it was bothering me.
I will say one thing I would have really liked. I think I kind of mentioned this over Snapchat. Is I feel like they could have really hammered in a certain message more about how, you know. I think they kind of backtracked a little when I kind of forget what happened.
You wanted to, because you told me you're a member of Antifa, right? So
I'm not Antifa, but I'm not Antifa. No, okay. I think they backtracked a little bit on like the whole not Bruce Wayne, what's his name? Thomas Wayne guy being a good guy. I think they could have really gone for it and been like, yo,
he full killed.
These systems in place here are trash, and maybe with Batman's approach is really not the best. Maybe it's just another a symptom of this.
Well, I think they
addressed it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's something they'll explore in these other movies or whatever. But I think that's something that I like that they were going with in terms of a take on like the sociological aspect of the Batman, whatever. So
yeah, I agree, and I think that it seemed like they were trying to reserve something for a sequel, and that's my other thing is like. Because, like, they're like, Bruce Wayne's like, my father's an asshole, what? Right? And, you know, and then Alfred's like, no, you know, he's not.
I don't know. That I would have preferred something a little bit different with that, maybe.
I just feel like there's too many things going on, first of all.
Yeah, that's true. That you got, like, you know. Also,
it makes sense.
Something funny, I'm probably just late to this party, but it's like, oh, all these villains are from Batman 66.
Yeah. No, Matt Reeves talked about a lot in the interviews I've seen.
These are classics.
Where he grew up with that show and he wanted to pay homage. You know, there's the classic Shakespeare bust is in the next to Alfred when he's opening the bomb too. So there's a lot of homages too, and I like that. By that logic, is there another 66 villain who maybe will be in the next movie?
Mr. Freeze.
Okay, actually that's the one last thing I want to say if we're gonna wrap up the Batman. Sorry. This is something I brought up in the end of the podcast. Who is your dream villain for the sequel? You know, it's up to you. Who's the villain? Here's what I said. Well, you think. I say Mr. Freeze would work the best, but it's also so obvious, I don't know if they'll do it. I feel like it's too obvious. his whole story in the animated series and the Arkham games and everything, any medium he's in, it always hits the hardest. It has the best emotion. It is so thematically resonant, in line with a movie. I feel like it's only a matter of time that we get a proper Mr. Freeze thing. In fact, again, that's what I said. It's so obvious to me. I feel like the writers wouldn't do it because it's so obvious, but, you know.
No Joker, that's for sure. I'm sorry. No more Joker.
I think we need a break. I agree. We need a break.
No more. No Harley Quinn. By association. No. I would like if they went street level and did some goon tier characters like fucking.
Okay.
What's his name?
What's his name? Yeah, dude, that's what I was gonna say. Ventriloquist.
I think that could be kind of funny. Not funny. If it's done right, that could be like kind of cool.
Well, I think Matt Reeves has shown, and the writer, and everybody. Well, he's the writer. Sorry, he's the writer director. But he's shown that he can juggle multiple villains. You know, Penguin, Falcone, all these guys. Also, I said this on the podcast too. Is it Falcone or Falcone?
I say Falcone. I don't know what did they say in this movie? I don't remember.
They say Falcone. Yeah. I think I'm used to Falcone because of Nolan. You know.
Falcone.
Anyway.
Carmine. Anyways.
Carmine. Yeah.
I'm gonna say ventriloquist. Just put that out there. Like, you know. Maybe like a serial killer tier. Wait, is that just?
But we already had that.
Yeah, fuck. I was gonna say like a Zaz tier.
I mean, you could have Zaz on the street level, just murdering people. Yeah.
Put a Zaz character in there. Maybe they could explore like a no Ra's al
Man-Bat. Put Man-Bat in the movie.
No, not Man-Bat.
Yeah,
I would do like. No, not Black Mask, because they just had Black Mask and that other shit.
Oh, true. Black Mask was in fucking Birds of Prey.
They could have saved them.
Forgot about that.
They could have saved. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe like a. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's something to think about. You know, I don't want to press you, but man, what a movie! And I'm glad I got to hear your thoughts about it. There's actually so many other directors I could go with it, but I don't want to overdo it. So, pivoting back to movie news, let's not hit the Will Smith thing yet. I know we want to save that, but something I want to bring up. It also involves Cape shit, but I want to bring it up because I literally saw it before we started the podcast, and I sent it to Darian. Apparently, and Manny, you'll find interest in this because, okay, context. Daredevil, Punisher, all those shows are on Disney Plus now, under a mature lock. Okay, unedited. It's been confirmed. They have not been edited. They're as they aired. Jessica Jones fucking Luke Cage is in there. Kingpin smashing someone's head with a car door is in there. My brother Wesley from Daredevil's in there. If you know, you know. Turk Barrett is in there. No, okay. Right. So people were like, okay, this is a good. Yeah. People were like, okay, you know Turk Barrett.
Oh, they said Trippie Redd.
No, Turk Barrett, not Trippie Redd. Google it, bro.
I also heard Trippie Redd. I thought it was a joke.
I was like, what? Okay, Turk
Barrett. You know Turk Barrett.
Yeah.
So people were like, "Oh, this is a really good sign." You know, they're putting the series there as intended with all the maturity. Maybe we're gonna get some sequels and they'll be good. You know, this is a good sign. Today, Disney Plus went in to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, and they edited it and removed all the blood and gore.
Really?
That was in it. Dude. And there's not even a lot. There's not even a lot at all.
I'm gonna sound like old man yelling at a cloud.
Physical by physical media.
But seriously, because it's the fact that they can continue to manipulate whatever the hell they don't feel that is good for their. Like, they can continue to edit this and that. That's scary thought, man. That's like some, like, dead ass. Like
1984.
Like you go get a DVD or whatever, and it's like they can't do shit to it. I think I have Daredevil season 1 on Blu Ray that I have that somewhere.
That's good. You better keep that, bro. That's gonna be worth something.
Seriously, that's kind of scary. Because they did the same show with The Simpsons and probably with Seinfeld.
Rip the Michael Jackson episode of The Simpsons.
And I heard about this. I don't know how true this was or recent this is, but like in shows like Friends, where it's like set up in place that an advertisement in the background could be changed over time.
No.
Like they update. You should fact check me. I might be tripping balls, but like they'll update advertisements like from like when the shows were originally broadcast, like in 2003, whatever Coke product. Oh, we're gonna in the streaming version, we're gonna update the branding in the back. Some crazy crap like that, and it's scary. I don't like that. That's like I understand there's this balance between art and this commercialization of it, but that's like another level.
Weirdly, I can't. I'll have to look into that later. I can't really find anything right now, but I believe you. That's. I agree. I was always like, I guess the only time I don't care about physical media or not is like video games. Because I know like you talk about that a lot back in the day. It's like don't buy on from the PlayStation Store. Like they should take that shit away from you. And I just don't see a scenario where they just would take your games away from you. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Anyway, my point is, yeah, I agree though. DVDs are always good. Plus, you get better quality from it. Usually, if you're getting like a Blu Ray, getting a 4K UHD, it's always going to be better quality than streaming it. And I think that physical media is great. And our listeners know that they can win physical media right today. They comment on the Batman or Superman on the Instagram post. It's another reminder for you. But
I can't win it, right? Can someone I know win it? No, I'm not. No,
they listen to the podcast. I mean, okay, this is for the person that to make sure they actually listen through the podcast. You can comment, Manny sent me.
Okay.
Whoever this person, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah. Don't tell them though. Wait, you could just tell them. Shit. Never mind. Okay, don't tell them.
I don't tell them.
I'll take your word for it. Scout's honor,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, that's all I was gonna say about that. Just an interesting scenario going on. I'm really just trying to stall here till the Will Smith drop, but Mission Impossible 8 started filming.
He's still not dead.
They're filming those back to back, by the way. The next one is 7, not 8. They filmed 7 during COVID. That's when Tom Cruise had that huge outburst because people weren't wearing masks. I don't know if you remember that. It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not like I'm glad he did it, but it's just funny to hear Tom Cruise yelling, I guess.
I didn't know about that. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, like he was just like freaking out because someone wasn't wearing a mask. Maybe someone potentially got sick. So he was like, it was actually kind of good tier because when he was talking about it, he was talking about the fact not just that the movie couldn't get made, but the fact that hundreds of people's jobs would be in jeopardy from the crew. So it's actually a pretty good move by him. I'm glad Scientology leaves some sort of, Anyway, Manny, I see you sent a source for your.
That's one source. I think I was just on Reddit too much at that point in my life. I thought I was reading them. I'm dead ass serious. Like
this was yesterday, right?
No. Hey, what was I talking?
Did you learn anything from looking for this, or?
Yeah, it's definitely it's becoming a thing. Like and that goes hand in hand with how superfluous. How do you say that word? CGI in general is like how quickly they can manipulate. We were talking about like No Way Home. Just for a basic scene, they'll throw a blue screen or they'll throw this and that, edit it. They could do the same thing with
That's
ads.
a good point. There's a scene in No Way Home where he's swinging through Times Square with Zendaya, and you can see a Fortnite ad. You see a
TikTok.
You see these things, and you're right. Maybe they change that.
They change it later.
Vine 2. Whatever it's gonna be.
That's like I don't like that. I'm not gonna call out Kanye or I'm not gonna call out George Lucas, but maybe they set a precedent. One of them in the music and one of them in the movies. Stupid ass George Lucas.
We're gonna bring Kanye into the podcast. I'm ready for this.
I mean, this is not a music podcast.
Darian in here.
Can I make a side comment really quick?
Yeah.
I feel like the age of the SoundCloud rapper has officially died, like in the last week.
Thank the Lord.
Because the shit was coming up about how like 6ix9ine is in debt now, and I think he's like the last one to make it out not dead or not.
That's only because of his court thing too, right?
And interestingly enough, I felt the same way and had this conversation recently. And then I realized tonight I was reading an article on Genius about Denzel Curry's new album.
Mhm.
I think he is the actual last like thriving artist who started on SoundCloud, but also I think he started before
Yeah.
the wave that we're talking about, so it doesn't feel like an apt comparison.
I also feel like his sound is, maybe I'm wrong, his sound is also different and his image is different from that era. I think there was like a certain...
I think he's evolved a lot.
Yeah, he's evolved, which is kind of important versus like... I don't know.
Is that a mark of a good artist?
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, I
wish
debatable.
the best for Daniel Hernandez, but wait, do I?
What if he evolves, dude? What if he comes out?
I would like him, but I like Gooba, dude. When Gooba came out, back during the pandemic, that was like,
yeah.
But since
is that the one with Nick? No, that's not Nicki Minaj.
That's Trolls.
This is the one with all the scandalous females with the color. Yeah.
The one where he came back with the beard.
Yeah.
No, that's Zaza. No, that's not.
Oh yeah.
That's during the party. That looks like the.
That's
the dirtiest location on earth. I gotta say, while we're talking about 6ix9ine, my favorite 6ix9ine music video, guys, you gotta check this out. It's called "Stupid." Whether you like him or not, it's great. He's in a desert. Then Bobby Shmurda, who's from jail, and you guys told me about this. I know nothing about this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Shmurda does his verse from jail. So the music video, because he can't be in the music video, 6ix9ine gets on a roller coaster and holds his phone as if he's talking to him on the phone, and it plays. And just check it out, guys.
I mean, connect this to the movie realm, but the documentary, the story of what is it? The story of Danny Hernandez.
Yeah, well, you talk about that looking every other. Go ahead.
Highly recommend.
It must be good if you're unironically. It must be good if you talk about it a lot.
It's pretty decent.
Is it the Hulu one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've actually watched that one. It's pretty insane. Like where they leave you off, like morally. It's like you don't know how to feel.
It's weird because you kind of get the background. Like, yeah, this is just a kid who.
You know what? I can connect this to relevancy in that's the mark of a good documentary. Because who's seen Genius, the Kanye trilogy?
No, I only read Evan's Letterboxd review. So.
Well, if you read it, you know what it's about. Because that movie does not give a clear, interesting, complex look at Kanye the way literally the fucking 6ix9ine documentary does. Gives a look at 6ix9ine. The Kanye documentary. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say I don't know much about the Kanye documentary, and I haven't got to watch it yet. But I think the 6ix9ine documentary is interesting because it's done as like investigative journalism. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like 6ix9ine's like directly involved and like talking on the. Yeah.
Huh?
Is he like directly like directed by Dan? Not directed.
No,
but, you know what I mean? So like.
No, he's not even in it. Besides like footage they take from elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And that's the difference with the Kanye documentary is this is done by Kanye's longtime videographer, who also, I don't want to go too deep into it, but he has a falling out with Kanye, except it's not really a falling out relating to the documentary. It's just like a classic Kanye tier, just stops talking to someone. So there's a gap. There's a huge gap in what is arguably the most interesting stretch of Kanye's career, which is post-graduation to Life of Pablo, right? Yeah. And he's just not there. There's no footage. There's no explanation. It jumps from, the college dropout, late registration era to Life of Pablo. And I feel like the only worthwhile thing I'll say to anybody who's considering watching it is watch episode 1. Because that's the only interesting thing is you get to see Kanye grinding in this early 2000s hip-hop scene, interacting with the old heads and going through and literally, I keep saying grinding, but literally like grinding and going to record companies and busting it out. And I feel like that's the most interesting footage you get from this, and the rest of it is just randomness that is not stringed together. Also, there's this big portion in episode 3 where the videographer and person who made the documentary, Cootie, just starts talking about his son and like having a child. And I understand that that's not like uncommon, but it's just so separate from what people are here to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not related whatsoever. It's just like, Kanye stopped talking to me and I had a kid. Like, okay, like who cares? Not okay, it sounds mean, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, anyway. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think the 6ix9ine documentary is it like develops its narrative through interviews with people that 6ix9ine like knows, or crossed paths with, or like affected in a significant way. So it's kind of like, it's almost like he is obviously the focus of it, but it's almost more so like a focus on like his impact and like the way like his choices like developed this like character that you think he is. So at the same time it's like unraveling him and explaining him, but also you're realizing like, okay, how bad is this thing that I heard about him doing? Or like, here's something that you don't hear about him doing. And it's, I don't know, it's like an equal job of like explaining why some of your perceptions of him are the way they are, while also raising other questions. And it kind of just leaves you in this space where it's like a classic, like, I think very intentionally, I don't remember exactly the note that it ends on narratively, but I think that it's like a classic case of like trying to paint a muddied, like morally gray picture that relates it to like, oh, this is just like a person like everyone else type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas what I've seen of the Kanye one, and I haven't watched it, but I've seen clips of it and heard people talk about it, seems more of like a celebratory reflection.
Circle jerk?
Like,
I don't know, I haven't seen it. I'm not trying to talk bad about it.
No, I mean, I agree, but it's like, problem is, like, even if you're a Kanye fan, unless you're an absolute fucking, like, dick rider and have or not capable of free thought, you have to realize that there is some question to what Kanye has become in recent years. I'm not saying that, again, not in a good or bad way, but literally, what I said before, the mark, in my opinion, of not even a good artist, but like an artist is someone who evolves for better or worse, and how their music changes and how they themselves change from that. So, and that's what makes episode 1 so good, is because it starts out, it's like, okay, this is this guy, this is where he came from, this is how he started, this is why. And if you're a Kanye fan, you can kind of take those things and say, okay, he's really close with his mother. I wonder how the death of his mother impacted him, and how, you see how much she inspired him and how his upbringing impacted his drive in the music career. But you don't get any of those answers, because it cuts from that and it goes straight to, hey, Jesus is king, Kanye's crazy. Like, except it's not even saying that, because it's just his videographer who's going to ride his dick, because that's the only reason Kanye will talk to him again. And that's the problem with Kanye today, in my opinion, is that he's surrounded by yes men. As a Kanye fan, I think I could say that. And yeah, anyway, that's kind of my gist on that. Switch tracks here. I want to cap off the streaming thing with mentioning, because I think it's worth mentioning, Amazon officially closed their $8.5 billion acquisition of MGM Studios. And this wasn't really talked about a lot. I feel like there's other things going on, I guess. But this is kind of a big deal. MGM has been in question for acquisition since well before COVID started. I feel like people have been talking about it. And it's one of the last big studios to get acquired by a company / a streaming company. I don't know if any of you guys necessarily have any thoughts about that or whatever, but that is in the process of happening. And it is. So to give you some context, right? They acquired for $8.5 billion. Disney acquired Fox for $71 billion. So it's not like that big of a purchase, as I'm sure you can imagine. MGM isn't making a ton of movies nowadays, but it's a big deal. They have a huge catalog. You know, James Bond is part of that to some degree.
I think it's just the
That's
changing
the big
of.
thing.
It's like the fading out of the old guard into the new.
Yeah, it's inevitable for all these studios for sure. So it's just something I wanted to bring up. I saw an interesting social media post. Okay, first of all, have you guys seen Meet the Parents?
Long time.
Not a long time, but yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. Ben Stiller is now the same age that Robert De Niro was in Meet the Parents. When will we get the next installment in the series where Greg Fokker is now the parent that gets to scrutinize someone his kid is dating? Would you guys want to see that or not? That's my question.
Low key, I feel like it'd just be not good. I'm sorry. Look at it coming to America too, or whatever.
Get out of here.
Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
I agree that it would probably be.
It would probably suck.
But I still want it to happen, just for the prospect.
Ben Stiller, come on, man! I need more Ben Stiller.
Maybe it could.
Robert De Niro can be the bad grandpa, you know.
Dude, that movie's ass. I saw Bad Grandpa. I get it. He's old. He could do whatever the hell he wants.
There's a funny scene in that one though. Where he's rapping. You know what I'm talking about?
I barely remember.
Nah, whatever. It's okay. I don't want to go down
Bad Grandpa. Wait, Bad Grandpa? Dirty Grandpa. Dirty Grandpa.
Is that what it's? Oh, yeah.
Bad Grandpa's the what's his face? Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, that's the Johnny Knoxville in camera. Yeah. Speaking of, I haven't seen Jackass Forever. I really want to see that. I don't know if you guys have.
I have
no.
Not.
Okay. I want to see that though. Let's run through some more news right here. Jason Momoa is officially playing the villain in Fast and Furious 10. Anyone care? I don't care.
It's 10. That's great. That's cool.
You guys see F9 as its official name is?
What is this one's official name? Does it have one yet?
Not yet.
10.
I'm assuming it'll be F10 or
F10.
X. You think they're going to go X?
Okay, so there's Fast and Furious 2, Fast and the Furious, Fast and Furious 4, 5, 6, Tokyo Drift. Well, that's a little out of order, but you know what I'm saying. 5, 6, Tokyo Drift. Fast 7. No, sorry, excuse me. Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Fast 7, Fate F8, Fate of the Furious, F9, The Fast Saga, Hobbs and Shaw, a Fast and Furious production, or no, excuse me, Fast and Furious. Okay, that's gonna bother me. Hold on. Hobbs and Shaw. Okay, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, and then F9. What could this be? I want to hear some pitches.
FX.
That's a good one.
Or
that's a
Fast
good one.
FX?
Fast X. Because Vin Diesel was also in Triple X, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little connection there. I'm thinking Fast.
Furious X. X Furious?
I think they're definitely gonna do something with X, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
have an X song in there. No? Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay. This is relevant, and it'll transition us into the big topic. Okay.
The big topic.
What have we come to? Okay. There's gonna be a new I Am Legend. Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan
will be the aliens or the zombies.
Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan are attached to star and produce together.
Doesn't he die?
And then they're bringing back the same writer.
He dies in that movie. Sorry.
Isn't that debated?
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't seen the movie since I was a kid.
Well, isn't there
there's a deleted scene.
Ending or a deleted scene where he just explicitly does not die?
So I guess we're going to go by that?
Yeah, that's
because he's in the movie.
Also, why did they release the version of the movie where it's so, confusing?
So they didn't plan ahead.
Yeah, true.
Fun fact, there's a Batman v Superman poster in that movie.
Yeah,
but it's like a fake one because it wasn't a real movie.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
it was interesting.
You remember that? This is such a deep cut. Did I ever show you that YouTube video where the guy this is in I think 2008, makes this song. This is before the MCU existed, and he's just it's just a little song. He has this show that he does with superhero action figures, just fucking around. It's a joke. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Nabeel?
Yeah, no, I think you showed me this on a
It's
thing
pretty
too.
crazy. He accurately predicts the entirety of how the MCU played out in 2008, which is funny.
Yeah, I love videos like that.
But also, what my point was, he references that when he's in the character of Iron Man shitting on DC, they finally got Batman v Superman, I guess,
Yeah. It's to connect that. There's a video like that came out when Man of Steel came out, and this is at a time where there was no Easter egg breakdown videos. There was nothing like that. And in Man of Steel, when Superman is fighting General Zod, they're fighting in space at some point, and they're crashing into all sorts of rocks and moon rocks and shit, and they crash through a satellite. And you can only see this if you pause at a certain frame, but the satellite says Wayne on it. I remember seeing this video from this guy, and it had no views, 1,000 views, nothing. And he's just like, "Guys, check this out! Wait, I'm telling you, they're gonna do Batman vs Superman. It's gonna be like this, and I bet they're gonna do Doomsday and all this." And it turned out to be true. And I just wish I could find that video because I remember watching that and being like, "No way, that's crazy." And yeah, no, good stuff. Should we just rip the Band-Aid off now? I don't know, Manny. What do you think?
Yeah. We made them wait an hour and 10 minutes. Might as well get to this shit.
Tell them what happened.
Maybe
guys.
quick rundown. Alright. Everyone knows. Come on. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. This is
what we're here to talk about.
No, cut that. Cut that.
Okay.
Cut that. Bleep that out.
I feel like this is unironically, this is Kanye VMAs tier.
Yeah.
Is it better or worse or more intense or you know what I mean?
Well, I think because we have social media so prevalent now, it's just everywhere.
Here's the difference: is Kanye did that, and he became, as described by many musical analysts, public enemy number one of the music industry, right? For what he did, and he rebuilt his image, at least temporarily, by releasing, critically, arguably, one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time, of modern era, whatever you want to call it, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And he, quote-unquote, earned the respect back from the people. We would, of course, later on, that respect would come and go. But that was a pretty big arc for him. Is there some sort of relation here to Will Smith? Is Will Smith going to suffer any consequences for this? Should he? Will this stain the rest of his career? Will it stain the career, but he'll make a comeback similar to Kanye? There's just so many things to talk about. So let's jump in. Guys, first of all, if you live under a rock, the Oscars were this Sunday. Chris Rock was presenting an award. Of course, as a comedian, as a presenter, making jokes at the expense of the actors. It's a very common thing in the audience. And he made an offhand joke, which I can confirm after reading an article. It was off script. It was not. He did not make this joke in the rehearsal, but he, supposedly sees Jada Smith, Will Smith's wife, and he's like, "Jada, can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2, a movie where the character is bald." And Jada Smith is bald. Now we get into another layer where Jada Smith is bald because she has a medical condition, where an autoimmune disease where you lose your hair. Okay, no one knows if Chris Rock knew this or didn't know this or whatever. Okay, that's just one layer I want to mention. Now, here's the interesting part. In the video, that you can watch the video, the uncensored version that's from Australia or Japan or whatever, where they actually show the full shots without it being cut up. Will Smith laughs at the joke. Jada Smith does not laugh at the joke. Will Smith supposedly looks at Jada Smith. This part, no one has any footage of. Supposedly, this is all off camera. Will Smith notices Jada is upset, and then starts to get up. Okay, Will Smith starts to go on stage. Everyone's thinking, okay, this is a pre-planned bit. This is hilarious. Chris Rock's like, "Whoa, King Richard," like, making a joke about it, thinking, not knowing what's about to happen. Will Smith walks up, bitch slaps Chris Rock, and then sits back down. And he's like, "Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me." We think it's over. Think it's a joke. Whatever. Chris Rock is clearly stunned. Then we hear, off to the side from the seats, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." And then Chris Rock says, "Dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke." And then he says again, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth." And he's like, "All right, I will." And then this is interesting. I didn't know this, but he's like, I noticed it in a video. He's like, I could, like, as if he's gonna say something, like make another joke, and he's like, and then he stops himself, and he's like, "That was the greatest night on TV history," or whatever, and he just makes a joke, and then he presents the award. Okay, This is the big news. I don't know if people wanted to hear me describe something they probably already knew about, but I did. So
something still feels sus about the entire thing to me.
Right?
I think the main thing that confuses the fuck out of me is when Will Smith walks off stage, he is clearly smiling. He looks like he's about to start laughing again. And then once he's sitting down and yelling, and the camera goes back to him yelling,
he's clearly upset. It seems like he's tearing up.
Yeah.
But also, I just want to say, there is, again, I guess you could argue this is part of the act if you don't believe it's true. I'm not saying you think that. I'm just saying, in between commercials, someone took a video on their phone of Will Smith being consoled by Denzel Washington and P. Diddy. And he's like clearly like crying and rubbing tears out of his eyes.
Okay.
And, just wanted to add that. So there is a level of like, if this is an act, it's a pretty fucking thought out act. Like,
yeah.
I don't know
I
if it
haven't
is.
seen that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now the question is, and this has raised so many issues, Manny, we kind of started talking about this before the podcast even started, but it's like, I don't know, there's just so many like layers to tackle here, I feel like, right? It's like, all right, I'll try to give my take off the top of my head to some degree, which is, do I think Will Smith should have walked onto stage, whether what Chris Rock said was right or not, walked onto stage on national television and slapped the shit out of him, and then sit back down and start yelling? No, that looks bad. That's a bad move on Will Smith's part, which makes me think, okay, this is something he clearly wasn't thinking about. He was mad in the moment. But if he was mad, why was he laughing beforehand? He noticed his wife was mad, and so he got mad for her, which I respect. I feel like that's not an absurd thing to do.
But then there's also all this prior recent stuff that's come out that's a little like weird.
Do you want to talk about that?
I think you're the host here.
Oh fuck. Okay.
You can just link some articles or red table.
I'll link some articles below, guys. But basically, Will Smith in 2016, him and Jada Smith privately put a pause in their relationship, not even knowing if it would continue, and decided that they would only be life partners, not romantically. I don't know what the terminology is for that. I don't know if there is a terminology for that. But that was their deal, I guess. So from 2016 to like 2019 or whenever this came out, maybe it was 2020, I don't know. Whenever this came out, Jada Smith was dating a different guy. It was in a relationship with a different guy, even though she was married to Will Smith. And this came out, everyone was talking about it. It became a huge thing. It blew up. Is Will Smith a cock? This and that. And there was this, they finally sat down and did this interview together, just the two of them, where they talked about it and explained everything that I just said. And I guess they quote unquote got back together. But they also, there's this thing where Jada Smith called it an entanglement, which people were making fun of. It's like, oh, what a cuck, so an entanglement, this and that. So there's that prior thing where people are projecting that situation, whether it is or isn't, as part of this, where it's like, oh man, he's such a simp, he's a cuck. He only got mad because she got mad, and that sort of thing. It's a very base explanation of that. So I don't know if that helps, but yeah.
I think it's such a shock to the system because one, throwing out the fact that the Oscars no one cares about them anymore.
Right. Well, now they do.
Now they care all of a sudden because this is a
Drama.
at least a national audience. These are both people that are pretty well liked overall.
Yeah, these are two of my favorite entertainers growing up, and still to this day. And unironically, I'm not like just saying it, like looked up to them growing up, right? Like, I mean, I saw Will Smith in The Fresh Prince and all these movies, 2000s movies growing up. Chris Rock is Marty in Madagascar. Sounds like a joke, but unironically, he was great. I actually remember seeing clips of the Chris Rock show, and my mom would watch it.
Like they've both been very involved.
I have so much respect for them as a person of color, even. Just like seeing these people become big. So to see it like boil down to something like this is a little like disappointing. And that raises the other question that I feel like is worth talking about, whether it's political or not, which is like, people were talking about this on Twitter, but it's like, if it wasn't Will Smith and Chris Rock, and it was, let's grab two presenters from previous years, like I said to Manny, Billy Crystal, and I don't know, name another like white actor or
Danny DeVito.
Comedian. Billy Crystal and Danny DeVito. If Danny DeVito walked up on
coming from below.
If the other way, even if you want to make it more imposing, Billy Crystal walks onto stage and slaps the shit out of Danny DeVito. It's like, would people be reacting the same way, or would it be more of a joke? Would it be more of a less of a thing of, okay, Judd Apatow, when this happened, tweeted and then deleted one sentence. He said, quote, "He could have killed him." Do we think that's true?
No.
That is, to me, a little racist.
That's weird. That's a weird thing to say. Honestly,
I'm not saying Judd Apatow is racist. I'm just saying there's a sphere of white. Yeah. I feel like I can say this to some degree because I've noticed it. I'm talking about it as an observer. Is like there's a sphere of just like strange remarks about the situation that come from a place where it's like, well, where are you getting that from? Where are you getting this narrative that one of them could have killed each other and that the police should have been called and that Will Smith should have been kicked out that second? And you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the same people would be saying that if it was Danny DeVito and Billy Crystal, which I feel like it's a very funny example. But if it was literally two white people, I mean, I'll say it.
I never really thought about it like that. I don't know. I'm not really on Twitter or anything, but I definitely think his slap was like kind of looked like a slap you learned like on set, like for stunt shit.
It didn't look hard.
It was meant to embarrass. It wasn't meant to like.
It was humiliation.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to.
Which is arguable. It's like, okay, you're gonna humiliate.
It's just still not a good thing, but
yeah, it's just not a good thing.
It wasn't meant to fucking put him down,
Look, I think very obviously if Will Smith had a problem with it, whether he did himself or because of his wife or whatever, he should have done it backstage. He should have talked to him backstage. I think that without a doubt, Will Smith is in the wrong for, again, nationally humiliating Chris Rock by slapping him. Again, even that sounds absurd. I feel like now that I'm saying it out loud. But, like, obviously what he did was a lapse of judgment. I'm sure most people would agree. I don't understand the extended dramatization of it is my thing, right? There's this, something I saw today. Zoe Kravitz posted on Instagram. It's like, she's like, here's my dress from the Oscars, where apparently we assault people on stage.
Well, also, if you notice, is like, I was looking at YouTube today, and like every video trending was something related to this.
Yeah,
it's this celebrity reacts, this so-and-so reacts, so-and-so breakdown. Analysis breakdown. So and so reacts.
I saw Mark Hamill posted something where he's like, "Worst Oscars moment ever." I'm like, "Shut up, Mark Hamill. You don't like The Last Jedi, you fucking idiot."
So, it's like, I'm trying to crack. I feel like it's the fact that it's these two actors that are so, at least have like a positive public consensus, and so now we see something sour between them, and it's in the public eye on the Oscars. It's something that we're going to be talking about for a fat minute.
Right. And then you add in the stupid drama of his wife and that whole entanglement thing.
Exactly.
And it's like people projecting other things onto it.
I'm trying to think, like, you mentioned, what was, like, the Kanye thing, but also, I think also we're in a time of social media.
Right, it's so different.
It's like, this is constant on our news feeds or our phones or whatever.
Are you, people are saying, Will Smith's career, he should not get any more work in Hollywood. I don't know if I saw that. Do you think there should be any impact for what he did? Chris Rock, let's note, Chris Rock was asked by the police department if he wanted to press charges, and he said no. And Chris Rock also, I guess, hasn't spoken out about it since.
Should it affect his career? Probably not, but it should probably definitely be an eye-opener to him and his family and his wife as to, like, a personal
problem.
This is a personal thing that needs to be addressed clearly. That for him
yeah.
For him to go 180,
and that's why I feel like it's absurd that it is even a conversation point. That this is the main drawing point for this podcast, is like people want to hear about Will Smith, the slap. People want to hear about the slap. When in reality, I feel like it's
the slap, or
we could, if you want, we could talk about that.
Should the cover image be the slap? Are we the baddies? Are we just part of the system? Are we just feeding into the mania?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm feeding into the system because it's relevant and because I think it'll get clicks. Then again, my clicks aren't for monetization, and they're from people I'm acquainted with in real life.
Kevin.
So am I really the bad guy?
Are you the bad guy? Nah.
Are we the baddies? I don't know. But okay. I feel like us focusing on it is more A, funny, and B, just to be like, hey, Filmatic covers the slap. That's what I want to say about that. As far as the actual thing goes, I really don't understand why it goes. I guess it goes into a larger point where it's like, I feel like we might have even talked about this before, where it's like putting celebrities and elites on a pedestal, right? Oh, this guy worth $300 million, slap the guy worth $200 million. Like, okay, I'm sure they'll be fine. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's complicated, and I don't know. I feel like as far as we go, as people who enjoy movies, I just hope both of these people continue to make things, because I like both of them. Who
knows? Maybe they'll make something together. Like a Disney Plus Discovery each.
See, it's a distraction from Disney. That's what this is.
Dude,
they don't want you to know. Yeah,
that's true. Fucking puppet strings.
Why do you think he was smiling?
Yeah, I bet Mickey earlier was like, I want you to make this joke, Chris. And Chris is like, what?
Slap him.
So.
Yeah. I'd like to see a parody where it's Will Smith, Oscar the Shark Slayer, slapping Marty the Zebra.
I saw a lot of edits of that.
Oh, you already? Damn.
Yeah, like the night of. I was like, fucking people.
I don't know why I thought it was being original.
It was what I saw. I was like, that's funny. That's true. Those are two icons.
Ironically, this has only made me want to rewatch Will Smith movies. I don't know why. It's just like, I'm like, man, I miss that guy. I'm like, I want to watch Shark Tale. I want to watch Men in Black.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a Will Smith episode. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be good. Maybe do like a trivia section. You should get like Casey against, I don't know, Connor. Who's the most like controversial or like outward personality on the pod?
None of the above. I'm just kidding. No, I mean,
you need like an instigator.
Darian, what do you think? I mean, you've been on most of the podcasts.
I feel like Casey, jokes tends to fall into that category, but I don't know if there's a second person.
I say Evan just has stronger opinions, but he's not like as outward about it.
Connor does end up being the butt of a lot of jokes.
Well, it's easy, man.
You still doing the dolphin shit, or?
Yeah, we are. You guys, if you don't know, no, it's okay. It's okay. Go listen to any episode with Connor in it if you want to hear about it. The thing with Connor, I love Connor. What I want to say for the podcast is, you'll notice that Connor is the least outward person because Connor is a great guy and he loves everything. I don't know if I can name one thing that Connor has told me he doesn't like because I don't think it's happened. I don't think there's a movie that we've talked about that Connor does not like. And that's okay. Some people are like that. And
Maybe-
I think that we all know one person like that.
Maybe
So I
that's something
appreciate that.
You can get out of him, like the episode about what Connor hates or something.
Yeah, just poke him
segment.
and prod him until he says something, you know.
Maybe it's like, I actually don't like Dolphin Tale. I hate that movie.
We're trying to get Batman to kill, you know?
Exactly.
All it takes is one bad day, you know. Yeah,
That
Is there
dolphin
any-
died.
true. What was
What's his name? Willow?
Winter?
Winter?
It's Winter.
Sheesh.
Morgan Freeman outlived that dolphin. That's surprising.
Yeah.
This is my point where I want to say anything regarding any movie news. It doesn't have to be news. It could just be a movie you saw. Anything you want to talk about. This is it. You've entered that arena. Throw out anything you want to say. Think about it.
Batman was good.
Yeah, Catwoman was good.
Catwoman. Yeah, Catwoman was good. I like Catwoman.
You guys tried the Batman calzone?
No. Did you
That was
actually get the Batman calzone?
Yo, I got it a week before they were giving out the free posters, and I'm still mad about that.
I did get the shirt. You see
You
it?
got the shirt at the Little Caesars?
No. I
Oh.
just bought a shirt.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I feel like such a consumer when I watch these movies. Like when I watch Spider-Man, when I watch this, I was like, I just want to buy, you know.
Funko.
Say again?
That's how you know they're good.
That is a good point. That's how you know they're good. Okay, that brings up something that I've talked about that I want Manny's opinion on.
Mhm.
Do you feel like it's weird. I feel like consumer tied-in products are becoming less and less prevalent, but also becoming more and more prevalent because of social media. Example, Spider-Man 2, let's say, 2004.
Mhm.
From my research, when I looked it up, because we were talking about it,
Yeah.
there was McDonald's toys.
Yeah.
There was all these sorts of, toys and
Yeah, I remember.
and books and comic book tie-ins and all these things that came out when it came out, right? Now, when
Okay.
Spider-Man No Way Home came out, let's say, no McDonald's toys, no...
You know what it might be, bro?
Yeah.
Is it because everything is on the phone now? Because those were all most of the stuff you mentioned were for like kids, right? Like action figures.
Yeah.
Little
And now what do kids have? An iPad.
TikTok.
iPod.
What are they going to advertise on? TikTok.
Now
I
we
think
have
that's just
the
like a wider.
Daily Bugle TikTok.
That's a
Is what
wider
I'm trying
trend. Yeah, I saw this. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, they just changed the Daily Bugle TikTok into a Morbius TikTok. Because Morbius is coming out this weekend.
That's true. We didn't talk about Morbius. Hello.
If Spider-Man's not in the movie, I'm gonna ask for a refund. But
Okay,
I'm
well, here's the problem, Darian.
it.
Here's the problem. Do you want me to spoil Morbius for you?
Yes, spoil it. I mean, unless he
Because
doesn't want it.
here's what I'm going to say first before we say yes or no. The director and Sony went on to Twitter and spoiled the movie directly. I'm not making this up.
In a good way or a bad way?
Every question you are interested in, Darian, they answered.
So Spider-Man's
Vulture, no, Spider-Man is not in the movie. Vulture is only in a post-credit scene. Spoilers for Morbius, by the way. Vulture is only in a post-credit scene, and in the post-credit scene, Morbius is like flying next to Vulture, and Vulture's like, I want revenge on Spider-Man, and Morbius is like, okay, and that's it.
But this is the Vulture from the Michael.
But it's the Vulture, and so it's
Which
never actually.
Spider-Man?
That's the question.
What fucking universe does the movie take place in? Or
They don't tell you. They don't tell you. All the director said was like, "Know that we have the." Oh, sorry, I don't want to do an accent. I don't actually know who the guy is, so that was not okay. He said that now that we have the multiverse opened up in No Way Home, we know the audience is aware that characters can travel in between universes. I'm not making that up. That's literally what he said.
What?
So I'll find a quote.
That's not what the multiverse existing means. Like, the Vulture can just fucking fly into a different universe now? Like, what?
Okay,
How did he get there?
this is what he said, quote, "At the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home, and in No Way Home, it is clearly established that it is possible for characters to transfer from one multiverse to another." He continued by saying that Venom and Vulture are among many who are transported back and forth between the MCU and the Venom universe. The quote, "The events of No Way Home had the effect of transferring Venom and Vulture, and maybe others, back and forth between the MCU and Venom universe."
That's okay.
It's such a lazy way to do it. They're just like, yeah, we can do whatever with any of the characters, actually, because of the multiverse. Like,
Dude, I just want Matt Smith to do something good.
So it appears. Well, first thing I want to say, just to wrap that up, it appears that they're trying to set up a multiversal Sinister Six. So like Venom, Vulture, Morbius. That's 3.
why is Morbius in our Sinister Six lineup after 10 years of trying to make the Sinister Six movie? They've chosen Morbius as one of the members. Mind-boggling.
You know what Morbius feels like, Manny? I feel like you'll appreciate this. It feels like a Dark Universe tier movie. You know?
Oh, you mean like the
So for those who don't know, Dark Universe was a Universal Cinematic Universe they tried to make, but instantly failed. That included Tom Cruise's Mummy, what's his name? Russell Crowe as Dr. Heckle and Mr. What's it called? Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, sorry. Javier Bardem playing a werewolf.
Black Lagoon?
I think he was playing a werewolf.
Uh-huh.
Johnny Depp playing the Invisible Man, which is the easiest way to pay Johnny Depp for doing nothing. And the other bitch in Mummy. I know I call her a bitch. Censor that. Anyway, they tried to set up their Dark Universe, but after the Mummy failed, it instantly all stopped. Because in the Mummy,
from that is when they released the trailer without the fucking.
Yeah, they released Darren. I don't know if I showed this to you, but they released a Mummy trailer one day, like Mummy trailer number 3, but they released it without the audio, without the music. So it's just screaming. It's just like Tom Cruise screaming, birds flying. Like
Awesome.
it's actually kind of creepy to listen to. But anyway, Morbius reminds me of that kind of movie. Same level of ambition, same level of laziness, universe building wise, and I hope it fails just like those did. And I hope that Jared Leto,
dude. I mean, I don't care about him. Fuck him. But Matt Smith is about to turn 40.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Matt Smith,
old.
Give the guy a break. I've been saying this since we were still in middle school. You know, shout out to my old school Whovians. But, you know, I watched Doctor Who back in the day. I've seen the Matt Smith ones, and I've seen the Peter Capaldi ones for the most part. And it makes no sense. Like, okay, Matt Smith walks away because he wants to move on to bigger things, right? He's like, okay, I want to do something different with my career. And he goes and he does Terminator Genesis, which I've seen. It is terrible. He does this, which some people have seen and are saying it's terrible. He does. He's in a series. What's it called? It's a royal series with all of
The Crown.
Like he's in The Crown. To be fair, I don't know anything about The Crown. I don't know if it's good.
He's in that movie Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies because I literally track his career because I want him to do good. So I know the shit.
He's such a good actor. He's like an incredible actor.
He's just I don't know. Something's not registering, and he's getting old, and I'm getting scared. So
yeah, I feel bad for him.
I'm just downtrodden. That's how I feel.
Hopefully, he gets his big break soon, or goes back to being Doctor Who, which is, again, I've been saying this, the only way to get people to watch Doctor Who again. Tell me I'm wrong, Manny. Tell me I'm wrong. I think
they could also do like you probably wouldn't want to do it, but like David Tennant, I'm sure would draw people in.
Just do another day of the Doctor, but like make it a whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways,
shout out to Morbius releasing in theaters this weekend.
I hope it. Yeah. Should we? You gonna watch it or?
Here's the thing. I was going to say this. Why would they go on Twitter and reveal all of the things that made the movie, like, intriguing?
Because they know no one
Because they probably know
is going to watch it anyway, so I feel like maybe they think if they say certain things, they'll be like, people will get somewhat interested in how stupidly vague their answers
probably
are. I have no idea.
For me, it was like, okay, I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm going to get scammed by all these stupid Easter eggs in the trailer, but I'm okay with it because maybe there's Spider-Man, or maybe there's a reference to the possibility of Spider-Man in a sequel, which is ridiculous that I am going to take that bait. But I would have. Now they're just telling me, like, nope.
I mean, maybe I'll still go see it.
I might still go see it.
If Darian says he's still gonna go see it, I'll go.
Okay, if you're gonna see it, I'm gonna see it, but I don't think Manny's actually gonna end up seeing it.
I'll see it if you see it. Deadass.
Dude, yeah, right.
Right, Friday
to see
night.
Morbius.
No,
Because no one's
Thursday
gonna
night.
go with you.
I'll go with
Yeah.
Oh,
Not even your own girlfriend would see Morbius, bro.
I'll go. It's gonna be on China 720p at some point. I'll just watch.
That's
it
what I was thinking. I'm down with watching it. Let's just watch a shitty camera and do an episode on it.
What if they like a tie-in drink though? Like the Morbius
blood.
fang or the blood fang.
Because he drinks blood.
Yeah. Is it rated R?
No. Oh, what's his name is in it from Fast and Furious?
Tyrese Gibson.
Tyrese. Yeah. He has that one line in the trailer where he's like, never mind. I'm not gonna do the whole bit. Never mind. Good for him. And how did we start talking about Morbius?
Because it's coming out.
Okay.
I think we forgot that fact.
Right.
The movie's actually real and releasing.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it online.
I'll watch it online.
All right, bet.
Deal.
Deal. I might actually end up at the theater. I'm not gonna lie. No.
You're not gonna go to the theater, bro.
We're getting excuse to go get popcorn, right? And soda.
I guess maybe you could make popcorn at home. You know?
Yeah, but you're supposed to enjoy the film in the theater. No, isn't that the point?
Not Morbius.
Oh.
All right, guys, we did it. We tackled the biggest and the best movie news. We talked about everything that everyone wanted to hear about. The slap, Morbius.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow, that just happened. Manny Rea just smacked the shit out of me. All right, make sure to stay tuned to Filmatic. We've got a lot of good things coming up. We're going to try to do some more artistic indie movies. Maybe I'm feeling that kind of vibe. Feeling maybe drift away from the superhero thing. We've been doing a lot of them.
And then we have some Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts. That would be good.
I say that people have been shitting on us for doing fucking Marvel movies, and you say to do Harry Potter. That's really good.
I'll watch.
Make a whole feature-length movie with her Snapchat story.
Maybe I'm better on. She could definitely make like a 4-hour.
I actually swiped up on one of her stories once, no joke. And I said, you should do a podcast. And she just left me on red. No, I'm just kidding. She did. She gave me like some.
She sent me an essay about why she can't do a podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to bleep that name. But
It's an Harry Potter episode.
Harry Potter episode.
7 hours minimum.
Part 1.
All the movies together are how many hours? Like, let's just say each one's 2. There's 8 movies, 16 hours.
Pump that out quick with her, man.
Fantastic Beasts, that's 20. Triple
that.
60 hours. Get ready for the first ever 3-day podcast, guys.
You should do like a fundraising episode. Like a telethon.
For what?
For like fundraising money for new college students or something.
To do what?
The film department or something. Encouraging film and you know?
We're gonna get Connor.
Yeah.
basically, Connor's dad, where they forced him to do.
Right.
Holy shit!
Absurd.
And
It's a lot
Connor,
of bleeps.
Connor couldn't handle the stress of it, so he was forced to turn. And then when he came, forced him to place.
Yeah.
To make him
Rest in peace. That's what I have to say. We are gonna have to heavily edit that part. Anyway, guys, this is the iconic filmatic moment where we get to plug our projects, things we're working on, things we're doing in life. You know, it's become an iconic part of the thing. And let you guys think about that while I plug something. It came to my attention recently. I want to plug a different podcast. No joke. Also called Filmatic. Because I went to YouTube and I searched Filmatic just to see what would happen. And another podcast called Filmatic came up. And, I clicked it, I checked it out. These guys are actually really cool. One of them is actually like a director of photography. They're actually like in the film business talking about actual meaningful things. And I was really floored. And I saw that, yeah. Well, so one thing I saw was like, okay, technically I had the Filmatic name longer. Anyway, I just commented on one of the things. I was like, this is awkward. At Filmatic podcast, just to see what they would say. And they were like, they said, quote, they said, we're not just a podcast, like heart emoji, subscribe to you, thumbs up. Which is pretty chill. I like that. Good guys.
I mean, I don't know how open they would be. What, collab tier? Fan, from a viewer
maybe like an interview, because they're actually in the field,
like,
and know what they're doing with their lives.
Professional. That'd be.
No, I mean, I'd love to reach out to them, and I unironically, I'll joke because I wanted to plug their podcast, not just because they fucking were nice, but I genuinely, I was talking to Connor actually when this was happening as I saw it. They've got some actually really interesting videos on there about the film business and that sort of thing. So actually do check it out. It's called Filmatic. Just search Filmatic. It'll be the first thing that comes up. They have a podcast sort of thing, and they also have videos about actual film. So I just wanted to plug that. That's what I wanted to plug. Shout out to Filmatic. Okay. Either of you want to take your turn? What you're gonna plug?
Morbius. Rooting for it.
How much did Sony pay you to say that?
Nothing. That's the worst part.
It's okay.
I got nothing.
Yeah, you're good. Sometimes things just aren't
in the works.
In the works. Sometimes they're still baking in the oven.
I'm hungry, but I can't shout that out, right?
Yeah, go ahead, shout it out.
I'm a little hungry.
Louder.
I'm hungry and I have ravioli in the fridge.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Darian, is there anything you want to plug, or in the same boat?
I don't think so. I thought I had something when, like, in the middle of you talking, but I can't remember now. I'm just gonna plug Connor's music.
Burnout. New single just dropped. I think.
Actually?
I believe somewhat recently. Yeah.
Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
You Don't Need Me?
Last month.
Yeah, in the past month he dropped a song. Check it out, guys. He's really building up. He only gets better with time.
Wait.
Yeah.
Did he ever
Sorry, I was just trying to.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
There's the album art.
That's cool.
Designed by Evan Lamole, who's also a friend of the podcast.
Did
Looks great, actually.
Did he ever perform live at that thing?
That was a joke, okay?
Wait.
Listen. Guys, if you're somehow connected to a live festival, please reach out to us. We may have a contender. he's willing to pay money to be part of
He donated money to a GoFundMe for Connor Plunkett in the past 12 months. You may be entitled to
may be entitled to $10. What is life? But yeah, no, I mean, guys, what's so funny, asshole?
I'm just thinking about
No, not you. Man was Manny, dude.
I'm just thinking about $10. Just like,
Okay,
I can
maybe it wasn't
imagine his
$10.
wholesomeness, being like, "Oh my God, Connor, yes." You know, wire directly
It's about
towards the bank of him.
intention. It's about intention. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you just guys have why don't you have him perform for your someone's birthday? You know, just give him a job.
Like who?
Like whose birthday's coming up? I don't know. Have him perform at PV Grad or some shit.
Dude, that's you. You're the one who has connections, bro.
I mean,
your sisters and.
I can tell her to tell the class president to have him perform outside or something.
Pineview alumni.
Yeah.
Coming back.
You know,
Connor outside Van Weasel. Just
I hate the way that I feel. Yeah, now that I think about it, not after music for graduation. Now that I think about it. Okay. All right, we can wrap it up now.
Let's wrap it up.
I'm so glad you guys joined me for this little impromptu episode. Hope you'll join me again. And once again, to the listeners, I hope you got some sort of value out of the entertainment value out of this. If you learned something, hope you had a laugh or two. And I hope you join us again. We'll be discussing a movie very soon on Filmatic Podcast. Let's roll out. We'll go in alphabetical order. First name alphabetical order.
Darian Nigro.
Manny.
And Nabeel Sharif. Thanks for listening. And peace out.
Peace.
And keep Filmatic's name in your fucking
Oscar
mind.
Mayer Bacon.